Have you ever felt superior to everyone else, as if you were a chosen person? Or conversely, have you acted as though your body and mind were possessed by an alien force? I'm not just talking about visions in a psychiatric ward. I'm talking about the modern individual who gets swept up in an ideology and thinks they are the world's savior, or a manager who hides behind a title and forgets their own humanity. Carl Jung discovered two of the greatest dangers of the human psyche: psychic inflation and possession. He believed that when we encounter the massive energy of the collective unconscious, our ego can either swell up, mistaking this power for its own success, or be completely swallowed by it. Today, on Shadow Atlas, we will journey to these eerie boundaries of the soul. Psychic inflation is a state where the personality balloons beyond its individual limits. This usually occurs when the ego appropriates collective contents, namely archetypes or superior knowledge, as if they were its own private property. When a person identifies with an archetype, such as the wise old man or the savior, they begin to see themselves from a divine perspective. An ego in this state looks down on others and falls into absolute hubris. Jung compared this to the myth of Prometheus stealing fire from the gods. However, this theft detaches the individual from humanity and condemns them to a mythical loneliness. Jung describes an extreme and tragic example of this inflation in his clinical observations. A locksmith's apprentice living in a mental asylum told Jung that the world was actually his picture book, and every time he turned a page, everything in the external world changed. This patient was living Schopenhauer's philosophy of the world as will and representation at his own primitive level. But while Schopenhauer could transform this mythical vision into an intellectual achievement, this poor patient was crushed under it. His ego was swallowed by that massive image. This is exactly what psychic inflation is: trying to fit an entire ocean into a glass until the glass shatters. Possession is a different and more uncontrollable process than inflation. According to Jung, the contents of the unconscious, archetypes and complexes, are relatively autonomous. They have a will of their own. When a complex invades the ego, the individual is no longer the master of their own house. Jung calls this the splinter psyches, taking over the ego. Another danger is when a person completely identifies with their social role, the persona. The individual is no longer a human being, but merely a copy of their title. The mask takes the place of the face, and this is the quietest suicide of the soul. Perhaps the person who felt this danger most deeply was Carl Jung himself. In 1913, his soul was under a literal invasion. He experienced terrifying visions of all of Northern Europe turning into a massive sea of blood, with corpses drifting in the waves. Jung was facing the danger of losing his mind, of being swallowed by the collective unconscious. However, he turned this invasion into a scientific experiment. By entering into dialogue with the figures he saw, such as Elijah, Salome, and Philemon, he realized they were other parts of the soul, and not himself. This differentiation allowed him to survive the invasion and became the foundation of individuation. In conclusion, when we encounter that massive energy, mana, rising from the depths of the soul, we can stray into two wrong paths. We either claim this energy for our ego and inflate, or we surrender to it and are swallowed. Jung's solution is neither rejection nor surrender. The solution is active participation. We must shake hands with those mythical forces within us, but we must never assume we are one and the same. Are you ready to recognize the boundaries of your soul and steer your own ship in that massive ocean?